Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Time with Tina. I wanted to show you the application that I made that AI did in less than 30 minutes. It's amazing, it's helpful, it's not real data. So when I show it to you, I want you just kind of see what is going on. So here's the app that I made. So I don't know about you, but let's just say I have a lot of applications. Let me go out here and share my screen. That would help. Let me share my window. All righty, let me go over here. So this is the application tracker, I'm calling it. So I'm using this to keep track of when you download an application. Right now, a lot of applications are free. Or maybe you get a 2-week trial, or you sign up for Google Drive, and then it's it's $19.99, and then in December whatever it'll renew. So I have a lot of these because I do technology, and there's a lot of different applications that I use, and some of them are a monthly subscription, some of them are yearly subscription, some of them are free, and some of them I can actually get affiliate commissions if people use my link. So when I'm talking about them, I like to share the link. So I was really struggling. I could have 100% done this probably in a spreadsheet. However, I am more visual, the flatness and kind of the rows and all that of spreadsheets just to me aren't as appealing. And I also am trying to learn some new tools because AI is where it's at. So I really wanted to show this application that I created in a tool called Codium that it's named Codium Windsurf. It's down here. And this is all that I did. I actually saved the whole script out here because I wanted to kind of walk through how it works. I literally talk to it like I do ChatGPT. However you would talk to ChatGPT, Claude, you would just talk directly to it like you would a person. So I told it I wanted to start an application. I want it to each of these fields to have hold this type of data. It's a text field, it's a URL field, all of that. I want to be able to add records, edit records, navigate records. Here's where you can see I'm really just, and then it'll go through, do what it's supposed to do. And then it'll ask me, I'm kind of scrolling quickly, but I just want to, it's kind of nonsense what you would see, but it'll go through all of that. It'll tell me what it did. And then I approve it. See how it says, great, I've successfully, right here, it says, I've successfully updated the application model with all the new fields, switched the database to a SQLite, set up a Flask, applied the migration. And then here's it's telling me what it's doing. And then I can say yes or no, that's good, that's bad. Then I was like, oh, you know what? Here's my logo. I would like to create a UI that uses the logo, these brand colors as the theme. It says, okay, then it walks its way through. So it just iteratively, it's not like you have to have everything at the very beginning. You can say, oh, I like that, I don't like that. I noticed that it was not scrolling appropriately when there were records, you couldn't go down. Just whatever, right? So as you continue to use it, you can talk about it. You can just keep updating it. And let's say you're using it and you come back a little bit later and you go, oh gosh, it would be nice if I could do this, right? So then you just go back in and you tell it where the application is being stored and you scroll through. So this new application will import a list. So if you already do have a spreadsheet and you use that, you could always just import it in. Then the records are there. You just would have to match them up with the actual names of the fields. And the easiest way to use that is probably to export. So we can do an export here in space. So if I then wanted to keep track of some other information, I can always add to it, and it just becomes a little bit more user-friendly for me anyway than just a plain old Excel spreadsheet that, when you sort it and all this kind of stuff, it kind of gets out of whack. This is easy enough. You can sort on any of these fields. I clicked on this. So if I wanted to know, the next renewal date coming up, the next one I have is in June of 2025. It's for $120. These are all made up. I didn't want to put anything out there, but I was just trying to fill in the fields so that you could see the information. So if I'm looking for a specific application name, I can go up here in my search and try to find the application. So again, I was just doing this to practice and to learn, because this really is the way of the software development lifecycle, right? Is you come up with what you want to have, you would give that to the developer team. And then if you're in an agile environment, right, they'll work on that for a couple weeks, and then they'll spit back to you what it is. And then you would do this exact same process, except the nice thing about using AI to build this is, number one, it's an instantaneous, right? I don't have to give it to somebody, try to get them to understand what I'm saying and them hear something different than what I'm telling them. And then they go back and they have to work on it. Plus they have to answer emails. Plus they have to, have their life and get off work at a certain time. So they're spending, usually it'll be about 2 weeks for code changes. And then they'll come back, they'll show you what they did. You run through it, you practice it, all that kind of good stuff again. So we're doing the exact same process. It's just rapid, faster. So this is completely free. I didn't pay anything for this. It's a SQLite, MS SQLite, and the code just came up on Windsurfer. There's a free version that you can use so much time and effort and questions, I think, before it makes you pay per project. So depending on how good you are at doing the questions to get started. And you can also, if you want to do the double help, you could go over to ChatGPT or Claude and have it give you the initial, play with it in giving the right prompts and sending it over. And one of the things I think that I really think is amazing about this process is the ability for somebody to really scale their skills if they're looking for a new job, or they have some offering that they're doing, or they're providing a service and technology, and there's a gap there. You can really use these tools to fill in that gap. So historically, in some previous jobs that I had, I did everything that was to do in the computer space. This has been, over 20 years ago. And that was back when, you had to know you had to build the computers, you had to program the computers, you had to set up the networks. You really did everything. People weren't as customized, and they weren't as have all of the customization as they do right now. And you didn't have the App Store, and you didn't have Google, none of that existed. So if I would go to a business, somebody would, for example, a storage unit, the self-storage units, he went and bought a computer, and he wanted to just keep track of who's in my units. And at that time, you couldn't just go to online and Google and have somebody download it for you. But the only thing that was offering was like a QuickBooks or something like that. And then you had, minimal templates, and you had to kind of shove that square peg into that round hole. So I learned how to write code in databases. I used Microsoft Access to write those custom little programs for somebody, right? I would create a form like this, and he could enter in, if this was that, the unit number, and who the person is, and when they moved in, and what is their rate, and then, little, payments or whatever. And he could do that, payments and stuff, through his QuickBooks, but it wasn't really a good way to keep track of who was moving in and who was moving out, and notes and that type of stuff. It was too big. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about filling in that gap, right? If you are a provider of services for somebody, if you're in the marketing world, and you are SEO, or you provide website services and all this kind of stuff, and somebody's like, I just need a way to keep track of this. I mean, this is amazing to me, right? That the code could be written this quickly and this easily, and kick this out for me. And, you can add more fields to it, right? So I'm like, here's just the basic information here that I'm showing, about the application. I put a little description in there so I know what it is. Here's the actual URL, the affiliate link. I can put the startup date, so it's kind of like when I got it. If there's a trial, when that ends, how much I'm paying for it, what the frequency is that I'm paying for it, right? So is it one time, monthly, yearly, quarterly? I also put the payment source, because if you're like me, it's just whatever I might be grabbing. Sometimes they'll have a PayPal button, And so I'll push the PayPal button, and so it's going to come out of my PayPal. Sometimes I'll use my debit card from this bank, or my debit card from that bank, or maybe this credit card. It just kind of depends. So I thought payment source, maybe I wouldn't put my whole credit card information in there, but maybe the last 4 digits, or the fact that it came from PayPal. And then I also thought, oh my gosh, what is all my logins? And, sometimes you have a login, but sometimes you also have a username. I'm logging in as this, but what do you want to be called once you're in the app? You might have that. And then it depends. Sometimes some applications will link right up to Google. They'll link right to your Gmail. So it's like, which one am I have several Gmail accounts? Which one did I use for this particular application? So I also, thought that was great. And with some of these development type applications, sometimes you need a token or a key so that the APIs can talk to each other. And so if the particular application has a token or key, I thought I could store that here as well. So that was just my quick and kind of, easy way to start capturing that information. It's easy to get to. I don't have to worry about Excel opening up. I don't have to worry about the Excel file getting corrupted. I did tell it to back it up. It does have a backup to the database. It's SQL. It'll have some redundancy of its own because it's just the nature of what it is. And also, if I export it out, I work in resiliency in my day job. And so it doesn't hurt every once in a while to just go ahead and export out the list, right? Like, don't just trust anything. You always want to have that redundancy. So go ahead and export the list and save it off somewhere safe. And that way, if something would happen, you could always just tell the application to be rewritten and bring it right back up again. So that is the application that I wrote with this tool called Codium. I'll pull up the help. It's called Codium Windsurf. And again, you just open it up and you come in here and you will talk to it just like you did. And I'll tell you the last thing that I did that, don't be afraid to talk to it about anything you want. So at the very, very end, my computer rebooted. So I did this the other day and my computer rebooted. When I came back in, the application wasn't running because there are certain things that have to set up the environment, right? So Flask has to be running, SQL has to be running. These background apps that make the application work have to be running. And I didn't want to have to every single time come in here and be like, what's the command again? So I said, can you create a icon for me, right? So it was like, the script will make sure that all dependencies are installed. I want to start up file. I'll come actually just show you the prompt, what I did. It's like right here. Can you make a startup script that everything that is needed and to launch the program? I didn't even talk in good English, right? And it's like, it'll create a Windows batch file. So it's going to create the start batch file. It's going to walk through here and tell me what it's going to do. It's going to tell me where it's at, right? It tells me where it's at and I can run it. But then it also, so here's where it's actually going to store it. But then it also says, would you like me to create a desktop shortcut for you as well? And I can just say, yeah. So it creates this PowerShell. I put the script out on my desktop. And so now I can go out there and instead of navigating through Windows Explorer or File Explorer and trying to find and remember which ones it said to run for everything, I just go directly to that shortcut it created on my desktop. It will launch everything and we'll be good to go. So that is my short and sweet demo of the application that I built so that I can store all of my websites. And, even if you weren't paying for them and you just wanted to remember your username and password, right? Or you just wanted to remember if you just had some kind of information about it or what you store, what's the purpose of it, because maybe it's in your bookmarks or you don't want to lose it, you could always use it for that too. So that was just my way. I just wanted to go through that with you because I did talk about it the other day and I forgot I shared my screen, but my other screen was plugged in. So it didn't show the actual application itself. That one was a little bit different because it was doing an import and export specifically to get a spreadsheet information. So I can show that another one too. But I just wanted to share that with you so you could see how easily AI can be used to just help you with simple little tasks that can be mundane and no fun to do, like maintaining an Excel spreadsheet. Have a great evening.